Hi everyone, Joe from Britical Saiyans here, and today I'm going to be going through the Jiren deck profile. So obviously Jiren's part of the Tournament of Power that we've just had, and like most of it's kind of handed to you in the box, but I've put a small variation on it. So to begin with, we'll go into the leader, which is Jiren obviously. So auto when this card attacks the lead card, draw a card. And he awakens at 4 by untapping 2 energy and then flipping them over. So it seems to be kind of like this is where the running pattern starts in Tournament Power, but it also seems to be one for these energy untappers when they awaken, is that they get to draw from attacking the leader. So we have Jiren the Ultimate Warrior as his awakened side. So he has the auto when this card attacks, draw a card as card bog standard. And the secondary auto, which is at the end of your turn, choose up to 2 Universe 11 in your battle area and switch them to active mode. So he's kind of like the Galactic Emperor Freezer from set 1 that untaps 2. So it makes them a bit interesting to play. It means that your big guys can come back into like active, so they're not going to be targeted down. So we'll begin with the extra cards. So starting with the 1-drops, we have 3 copies of Coquette Zone. So this is their like special negate. Only run 3 because like it's useful, but there's another one in here that I will show you. So counter attack, negate the attack. Then if your lead card is Universe 11, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and switch it to rest mode. So obviously very handy. It means that no matter where the attack, you can stop something big coming at you, which, like I said, is very useful. It might be that they've got a like double strike or triple strike on the board, and you know that's going to kill you. So you're just like, oh, I'll Coquette Zone. Your first attack doesn't matter what it is. I'm going to target down this big guy. Like you kind of pick something else that's more of a problem than the actual thing attacking you with this card, and that's what I quite like about it. So next we have 2 copies of the Flying Nimbus, so our staple for yellow as always. So again a negate, and that's why I only run the 3 Coquette Zone, because we've got 5 total. And this one is negate the attack, then you may place 1 yellow card from your hand as a drop. If you do so, your opponent can only attack 1 more time with battle cards for the duration of turn. So, doesn't stop them from using their leader card, but if they go leader first, you can just be like, oh, fine Nimbus, ha, nice one. And with the combination of Coquette Zone as well, you could do some like really good board control. You can stop something big from attacking after, so like you could go, oh, fine Nimbus, bear. And at the same time, I'm going to do Coquette Zone with this next attack with and stop this or whatever. Like there's possibilities to have some board control on your opponent, so that's why I like running the 2. Next we have 3 copies of Sensu Bean. So this is part of a very small blue engine, like 5 cards small blue engine, but it's kind of necessary for the deck. So Sensu Bean, as we all know, is the active battle. Choose up to 1 of your cards, it gains 5,000 power for the duration of the turn, then choose 2 of your energy and switch them to active mode. One major problem I had when I just built the deck as like Universe 11 and then throw in 2 extra cards because he only gave us like a certain amount, so I had to throw extra cards in, was that a lot of it, like the guys that you need, cost a lot of energy. Not only do you not have a way of ramping your energy, but you have no way of untapping the energy except by using your awaken skill. So you had to be very careful when you did that. And it's like if you played like the Topper or the Jiren and you're on the exact amount of energy you needed from them, it's like, okay, well, have I awakened? No, cool, I'll awaken now. But if you had, it's like, well, I've got this on the field, I've just got to hope that they don't swing like mad at my leader and I have to combo / just take life. So running this little blue engine just helps. It means you can play something big and untap your energy, which is always helpful. So next we have going into 2-drop extra cards, we have 2 copies of Darkness Eye Beam. So I'm running like pattern of this deck is rest mode, so switch stuff to rest mode, then killing it. Darkness Eye Beam helps us with that. If we haven't played anything that's like, oh, target this down, you could just go, okay, tap 2, rest everything, there we go, I have free reign of killing your rest cards, which is very useful in this deck. And finally, we have 2 copies of Objection. So, again, part of the very small blue engine, and as we all know with Objection, it's act your main, choose 1 card from your hand, and add to your energy. So, this just makes things a little easier. It gives us a target for the sensory beams, and you could just use it, like you could charge 1 and use the other if you really wanted. But as long as we have like 1 or 2 blue energy, we're fine, and that's where Objection comes in, because in my opinion, it's fine to lose to do that. Even if you want the power ramp, like you could just be like, well, I kind of need the sensories more, so I'll just lose the Objections. But that's it for the extra cards. So going into the battle cards, we have like 4 copies of the singular 1-drop you'll need in this deck, which is Hero Combination Topper. So Topper is like very much every other 1-drop you tend to see in decks now. In that, when you play it, you look at top 3, choose your Universal 11 among them, and add to your hand and shuffle. So he just helps us build up our hand and our board, which is very useful in this deck, and you can just keep them out, and it's one less, like, it helps towards the big Jiren, which will come much later in the video. So going into 2-drops, we have 4 copies of Hero Combination Kunshi. So Kunshi is our self-awakening engine, and it's very important to see him early on, which is kind of like why I failed one of the games that we played. But anyway, so he has the action reign of once per turn, you choose a card in your life out your hand. If another Universe 11 is in the battle area, choose one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 4 less and switch it to rest mode. So there doesn't have to be another one on the board to use the full effect. You can just have nothing but Kunshi and just go, oh, activate his skill, add 1 to hand. Like, you don't have to carry it on, unless I'm wrong, but as far as I know, you just play it, take the life, and you can just leave it at that. Even if there is another one on the board and there's enough for you to target down, you can just do that anyway. So yeah, it's very important that we see him early, which is why I run 4, just to get him out, do the self-awakening, and make life easier on ourselves. So next we have 3 copies of Hero Combination Vone. So this is very useful for the deck, and considering what it does. So it's the permanent of, during your turn, if another Universe 11 is in your battle area, this card gains 5,000 power, so it becomes a 15. And he has the auto ability of, at the end of your turn, switches to active mode. So, like I said with our big Jiren, he needs Universe 11 on the board to make his life easier. And Vone comes in handy, because in your turn you can bring him out and attack, and then switch him back up. With the Topper skill, which I'll go into later, it's something that even when you play him in rest mode, because of it, you just bring him back. And you only really need the 3 because he can bring himself back. And because of that as well, when you do your Awakened Leader skill at the end of your turn, you can bring 3 things back up. So very much useful to have in the deck. Next we have 4 copies of Hero Combination Zoirei. So Zoirei is our blocker for the deck. He has 5k, but it's his permanent that makes him quite useful. So permanent, if another Universe 11 is in play in the battle area, this card cannot be carried in battle once per turn. So you can block with him and he'll still live, so it's up to your opponents to then go, right, I've either got to dedicate a second attack to him or just leave him be. And of course, if you leave him be, he comes back in your turn. If they don't, well then you have a combo for him or you just let him die. And that can be quite useful if your opponent just wants to get rid of it and they know you're going to just bring this back up. Right, I'm just going to target it down. Even if it's something weak, they will target it down. So, but you want him at 4. I'd say, just for that reason. And finally, we have 4 copies of our super combo for the deck, which is Key Bomb Support Coquette. So, like I said, super combo. When you combo with a card, if your leader is Universe 11, you have 5 or less life. Draw a card, gain 10,000 power. So, our bog standard. Obviously, always run for all super combos unless your deck works without it, in which case, well done. That's very interesting. But yeah, and we can search her off loads of things. If you again use a topo, you can untap her using the Jiren's ability, yada yada yada. But the fact that she can do it at 5 life as well is very useful. And it's like, why would you run a different yellow one if you could just do that? So moving into the 3 drops, we have 3 copies of Hero Combination Cacharel. So Cacharel has 15k power and barrier, and the perp skill, if there are 2 more Universe 11 other than this card in your battle area in play, this card gains 5,000 power and double strike. So he becomes a 20k double striker, which is useful, and there's many ways to bring him out and make him of use with this as well. So if you have multiple as well, that's like 2 double strikers on board, which is threatening. So he's in there as a threat. Next we have 3 copies of Secret Vitality Jiren. So this is useful under circumstances. I kind of wish the other Jiren could evolve into him, but oh well. But yeah, he has the auto skill. When you play this card, if your lead card is Universe 11, you may place a yellow from your hand to a drop area. If you do so, choose 2 of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode and KO them. So, as I've shown, there's loads of ways to do that. So you could just be like, I've got 5 energy, they've got a lot of board that I don't like, so I'll do Dark Side Beam, play Jiren, dump a card, kill 2. Which is useful as hell. But I only tend to run the 3 because it's very situational. And I find that a lot of time I was getting him, I was like, oh well, I kind of don't want to dump anything, so I'll just charge him. So, but you know, everyone has their own playstyle. And finally, we have 3 copies of Swiftwater Desper, or as we call them, not mirrors. So, Desper is the combo caller, as I like to name them. So at the end of the battle, after you combo a card from your hand, if your leader is Universe 11, play him in rest mode, which is useful for our Jiren again, and it just gives us some more board presence, unless our opponent decides to kill it, but it also means we can protect something that's more useful. So, going on to the 4 drops, we have 4 copies of Ally of Justice Topo. So, I kind of mentioned Topo a little. He is like essential to this deck and how it works. So you definitely, like in my opinion, you definitely want to have the 4. He's not difficult to play. The 4 gives you the consistency as well as knowing that you're going to see him. And so his auto is, when you play this card, if your leader is Universe 11, look at the top 10 cards from your deck, choose 2 Universe 11 with an energy cost of 3 or less among them, and play them in rest mode, then shuffle the deck. So, going by what we already have for the set, there is 3 cards you can't play. Like 3 different battle cards that you can't play from a skill, which includes himself. There's loads of choices, so you could go for a Tupper just to add 1 to hand, you could go for a Vone, like I said, because he'll just bring himself back up. A Zoire, just so you have your blocker ready, your super combo in case you want to have that kooky play. And since he has 20k power as well, it means that he's like quite threatening to a leader no matter what state it's in. So Topo really helps this deck. He makes our big Jiren so much cheaper because he gives us 3 battle cards of Universe 11, himself included obviously. And then you can just bring up your little guys, so you can build up your board that way. And the fact that you don't have to pay the energy for them is also why he's really good, obviously. But So next, in the 4-drops, we have 3 copies of Hand Strike Cacharel. I think that's the right way to pronounce it, I don't know. So it's 20k dual attack. And he has also, when you play this card, if another universe type is in play in your battle area, choose up to one of your opponent's energy in rest mode. That can't be switched to active mode until the beginning of your next turn. So, obviously the main reason you run him is to like lock down an energy. It could be that they like running like a mixture and you're like, well, the blue side is the threat. I'll lock down this blue energy because I know that they need the 3 of them up, so now they've got 2. Stopping your opponent's energy from standing is always useful. Like, without a doubt, it's always useful no matter what. You have the dual attack option as well, and if you really want to be spammy, you can just play one after the other. I only ever play the 3 though, because a lot of the time I was seeing when I didn't need him, or I couldn't pay for him. So it's like, as much as I'd like to, I don't have a use for him at the moment, so I keep him at 3. It means I've got the option there, and I've got enough of a consistency to see him. So, anyway, moving on to the final card, which is our lovely 10-drop. We have 3 copies of Absolute Justice Jiren. So, as much as I would love to run 4, might be a bit excessive, but you never know. He's our big guy for the deck, and he's kind of why we need the top pair and all this, like card searching, cards freestanding, because he has quadruple strike with 35k power, nasty, permanent. Reduce the energy cost of this card by 1 for each universal element in your battle area. However, you must pay the 5 yellow, so even if you've got 10 out, you must pay the 5. So essentially, as long as you've got 5 on the board, he's a 5-drop, which is where our stuff like Topper and Vone come in handy. Topper giving us board, Vone keeping himself alive for Jiren, to a sense. Same as Zoiray. And he also has the auto of, when you play this card, choose all of your opponent's battle cards and energy cards in rest mode and place them in the drop. So, he is very nasty. You have to time him very well to kill all their energy. Like, get as much as you can, obviously. And with like Hand Strike Cacharel, you can be like, well, it's in rest mode. Yeah, I've locked it down. I'm at least getting rid of one of yours when I play Jiren. If you can do the play of Darkness Eye Beam before Jiren, that is really nasty because you just shut down all their battle cards. So even if they're trying to protect some, you're just like, nope, and Jiren kills it. So yeah, you build up towards this guy, he comes out and he pretty much like gives you the game if you can play him right, because the quadruple strike is very deadly. Obviously, like taking half your life as it would be if they are on 8 for some reason still is nasty. Any other time it's just really painful. It's like, okay, I've got to stop this, but do I negate? Do I combo out? If they don't negate, you just combo like mad because you want to get that through. Then you, if you're able to play multiple because you've been keeping your board alive and you've at least got him, 2 quadruple strikers is a nasty threat, and then using your leader skill after you swung with him, you just stand them back up like, yeah, let's go again. So, anyway, that is the Jiren deck profile. So, thank you guys for watching. I'd like to hear your thoughts in the comments, and as always, we will see you next time. Bye.